30,000-foot view of learning, and learning on a continuum. And because school can look different, right? Because you could have, in an online setting, a completely asynchronous class where there is no face-to-face class time, not even a Zoom room or a video chat synchronous time for your students. And on the other end, we've got fully face-to-face schools. I teach at one of those, where students come fully face-to-face. Although even now, of course, with the way we teach, it's really never completely fully face-to-face, because there's also some times where they're going to work independently. To that end, myself and Dan Jones, based on a conversation with somebody we're going to meet in a little bit, we developed this table. Let me explain this table. So first of all, on the bottom of the table, we've got asynchronous. So completely 100% asynchronous. That means there's no time, none at all, where the teacher is going to get with all the students at the same time, even in a virtual room. Got it? And over on this end, we've got the opposite, where it's 100% synchronous time. That's likely in a face-to-face school. Notice we've got Bloom's taxonomy levels, knowledge, understanding, application, analysis, evaluation, and creation. So it gets harder as you go. You've got the line, you've got the blue and the orange. But the key thing I want you to focus in is on this side of the graph. This talks about the degree of support that you need for the orange, the independent, or the blue, the group space activities. Let's listen into Paul.
When I'm planning, one of the things I'm planning is how do I support students when they go into the independent space and continue their learning.
So let's again pay attention to this side of the graph right here. It talks about the degree of support. So if you are a completely online asynchronous class, you don't see your students, you have to provide for all the levels of Bloom's taxonomy. You have to provide support for that completely in the independent space, so they can do the class, if you will, alone, right? And the degree as you move this way, the lesser degree you have to provide that in the independent space, right? So Paul, who we just met, he has his students for 1 hour a week in a video conferencing room. And so he, is probably here on the graph. And so he has to really think through, how does he support higher levels of cognition in the independent space? Now me, who teach in a fully face-to-face school, but in a flipped mastery model, I'm probably right here, but I can provide most of the higher order cognitive tasks when I'm face-to-face with my students. Frankly, it's probably easier. I don't have to build in supports in the independent space. And you see, depending on where you are at, where your school is at, or where your school might happen to go to, even in an emergency, what you're going to find is that it's like a sliding scale moving back and forth. Or maybe your school's for a time going to be like 50% online and 50% face-to-face. Or it could be 50% online and 50% synchronous, even in like a virtual room. And that means the key thing is you have to provide supports for them in the independent space. And of course, the degree that you're face-to-face, you can do that just with simple conversations, walking around the room, etc., etc. It's the big, big picture. I hope this helps.